Hello, everybody, and welcome to Finding Your Innergator podcast, where we talk about discipline, relationships, and the habits that release the greatness that is already inside of you. I'm your host, Wright, and I am so glad that you're here. In each episode, we'll explore powerful lessons, real-life stories, and practical strategies to help you live intentionally, build meaningful relationships, and unlock your full potential. But greatness isn't something you stumble into. It's something that is built every single day. So let's get started and begin the journey to finding your Innergator. All right. Hello, everybody. This is Wright, and I am so glad that you are here. You know, over the past several weeks, we've been talking about the 5 pillars of the Innergator system. We talked about the mind. We talked about health. We talked about relationships. Last week, we talked about your calendar. But today, we're closing it out with the 5th pillar, finance, money. I need you to hear this because this is where most people get it wrong. Finance and money is not the beginning. Your finances are the result. It's the result of how you think, how disciplined you are, who you surround yourself with, how you manage your time. When you get those correct, when you get those right, guess what happens? The money shows up. But here's where we go deeper today. What do you actually do with it? When the money comes, what do you do? Because making money and having freedom are not the same thing. You know, I'm going to say something that's probably going to hit a little bit, as my grandma say, I'm going to step on your toes. Most people do not have a money problem. They have a discipline problem. They make money. They just don't know how to manage it. They increase their income, but at the same time, they're increasing their lifestyle. They're increasing it at the same pace, and they stay stuck. Basically, they're broke at a higher level. So if finance and money is the result, what we're really after, what we're really talking about is freedom. Freedom of time. Freedom of decision, freedom to give. You have freedom to live intentionally. Freedom comes from structure. Let's talk real, okay? Let's have a real conversation today. You cannot have financial freedom while carrying the emotional weight of debt. Debt's just not financial. It's mental. Think about it. It shows up as stress, as pressure. It limits your options. So step 1 is to eliminate debt, especially your high interest debt. How do I do that, RB? How do I do that? Well, you develop a system, right? There's really, in my mind, when I went through this, there were 4 steps that we followed. Listed out every debt. I then put them in a ranking order of the highest interest, and I attacked it aggressively. I rolled my payments forward. You know, the snowball effect. For round figures, I'm just making up numbers here. Say that you have a high interest debt that's $500. You attack it, you attack it, you attack it. You're paying extra on it. Okay, let's say you're paying $700 on it. You knock it out. You go to the next one. You take that $700 and apply it to it. And say that debt's $500. $400. You're paying $1,100. You get that knocked out. Guess what you do? You take that $1,100 and you apply it to the next. You've increased your budget a little bit to attack that first one, but you don't change your budget while you eliminate them. But here's the key. This requires discipline. It requires saying and committing to the fact that I'm willing to sacrifice now so I can have freedom later. And I will go ahead and tell you, most people, I would dare say, not talking bad about you, but most of you will not do that. You won't do it. That's why people stay stuck. Let's assume that you did it. You start eliminating debt. You're creating space, and what you do with that space matters. You must build margin at this point, because margin creates control. Simple structure: save first, pay yourself consistently, build reserves, 3 to 6 months minimum. I'd love to see you have 12 months reserves, because when you have reserves, guess what you stop doing? You stop making emotional decisions. You stop saying yes to the things you shouldn't. You stop reacting, and you start operating with clarity. Now, what happens next? And this is a process, right? You're not going to do all of this on day one. But once you have that discipline, the ability to say no, once you have no high interest debt, once you have reserves, you can now grow. You can invest. You can expand. You can build, because now your money is working for you and not the other way around. And this is where it all comes together to me. Because if all you do is make money, you've missed it. You've missed it. The real win is having an impact. Giving changes everything. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. It reminds you you're not just building for you, you're building to make a difference. And I have to be honest with you, I'm excited about next week. I am so excited about next week, because next week you're going to hear from someone who has done this the right way. Her name is Allison Blanchard. She has built a successful business, but it didn't stop there. She took that success and turned it into impact. She's building schools in Uganda, creating opportunities, changing lives. And as you listen to that episode, I want you to hear something very, very clearly. If you listen, you'll find that her impact started with discipline, not money. Money was the result. Here's a challenge for you this week. Don't ask, how do I make more money? Ask the question, where am I undisciplined? Is it in spending? Is it in saving? Is it in debt? Is it in structure? Is it in all of these? That's where your breakthrough will be, when you identify where the weakness is and you attack that weakness. That's where your breakthrough comes through. I tell you this every week because I believe it, that inside of every one of you there is greatness. But greatness doesn't come from chasing money. It comes from discipline, structure, relationships, intentional action. And when you get that right, the finances and the money becomes the result, not the goal. I am looking forward to being with you again next week for one of the most powerful conversations we had. And I hope that this week has had an impact on you. I hope that you'll take the time, invest in yourself by identifying where your weakness is and begin eliminating that. Get disciplined, get intentional. I want you to be able to have an impact on others, but you can't do it till you get yourself straight first. I look forward to talking to you next week. Thanks, guys. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to the Finding Your Innergator podcast. You know, if today's episode helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, greatness is achieved through discipline, intentional action, and optimizing the relationships around you. I look forward to getting with you next week. Now, go Gatorize your day.